Do you want to know what are some good lures to take pond fishing? Just to take to any pond, no matter wherever it is in the country. In this backpack, I have every single lure you'll ever need in pretty much most of every single pond in the country. And I'm going to show you what's inside this backpack. Now, first off, what the backpack type is the Evolutions Fishing Largemouth Backpack 3.0. Really good backpack. Got it for my birthday. Probably one of the best backpacks to ever have fishing storage. It's really good. What I like about it, it has like a rod holder thing right here. You can put your rods in here. Really great storage. Pretty light, very comfy. But enough with the backpack. Let's get to what's inside of this here backpack. All right, so what's in this backpack here? Well, let's first start off with the outside here. Again, you gotta have this right here. You have to have a good set of pliers for whenever you go pond fishing, because you never know whenever you might need them. So right here, these are just some casting pliers. Pretty simple, pretty cheap pliers. Pretty good though, we'll say that. And you just put them right here. And then pockets here, I just have some water, random pretty much just like a trash back here. But there's pockets on the outside here. And then this front pocket is where I keep a lot of the goodies here. Right here I have Nico Rig rigging tools, some random just baits and stuff in here. And then I have some like super glue and some like chartreuses and stuff, just kind of just some of that stuff, just kind of your necessities, just like maintenance type stuff. You got your little snips right here, real good right there. It's pretty much just like scissors, random other things in here. And then over here, and this is like your line backpack thing right here. Because if you see right here in this backpack, it has like a little hole right here. That's where your line comes out right there. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I've used it before. And also right here, you have this like little rod thing right here. Really great for holding them. But we're not talking about like what this backpack on the backpack. We're talking about the lures that you want to bring whenever you go pond bass fishing. Let's start out with these boxes down here. So pretty much when I'm going bass fishing, I'm taking, because you never know when I might come across a pond that's maybe a little different here. Because you never know, because like topwater walking baits like this right here, this Arc one of my favorite bigger style topwater walking baits, even if a pond does not have shad in it, these bone walking baits will still work this time of the year. But you gotta kind of get on the bite form like this. But a lot of times, a lot of people don't throw this, but like smaller finessey jerk baits, like this Strike King jerk bait right here, can be really good in like deeper ponds when they're chasing bait. But a lot of times I like to stick to a lot of my bait fish colors. So just like in dirty color ponds, like I really like chartreuses are really good in like dirty ponds with grass, wood, rocks, anything like that. Really good for that one. Just like, you know, your standard topwaters, your poppers, your buzz baits. The buzz baits I have somewhere else. I don't have them in here right now because the ponds I fish around here don't have them. But you can add buzz baits, just like poppers, stuff like that. You're still like your essential walking baits. But a lot of times what I like to have in, especially all of my ponds bags, is I like to have a like smaller lures. Like this is a small little popper right here, BFS popper, really good popper for like smaller stuff. And like I have like a Karashi's in here. I don't have them in here, but Karashi's are really good in here because, well, I used to have them, but then I kind of lost them. But that's pretty much like all my hard baits I take whenever I'm pond bass fishing. So yeah, that's pretty much all the hard baits. Let's get into terminal tackle. So terminal tackle, it's pretty simple. Probably one of the most used hooks I use at ponds is this one right here. The VMC Redline Nico hook right here. It's a really great wacky rig, Neko rig hook. I love throwing a wacky rig in ponds, really great for throwing in ponds. And then, you know, you have your flipping hooks in case stuff gets hairy and they're in the grass, something like that. You got your flipping hooks ready to go. And then if you have a pond with like offshore cover in the summertime, a dang wobblehead I've caught a couple fish in ponds before I started YouTube with these, and it's pretty good for doing that too. And then of course you just got your, your weighted, like I like these BKK hooks right here. It's called the Permalock. They have like instead of having a screw kind of part where you screw in your soft jerk bait, stick bait, whatever, it's kind of like a little nail-ish kind of weight. They're actually really cool, and they make your bait float, like sink nose down, so it dives and darts a lot different and more directions and that. And of course, you can't forget your dang Texas rig hooks right here. Again, BKK hooks right here, 3/0, really great. Just standard plastics, you know, you can get go up to like a 5/0 or something like that if you get big plastics, but usually I stick to somewhere around those 3/0 when I'm pond bass fishing. And then of course, you cannot forget your dang shaky heads, really great for ponds if you get some offshore cover, or spawning works really well. And then of course, you cannot forget your dang Ned rigs, son, because your Ned rigs, literally one of my favorite ways to catch them with the dang Ned rig and drop shot hook right here. Just like, it's called the Ned shot. I'm gonna make a video coming up on it soon, but just putting those two hooks on the same line, the Ned rig as the weight and the drop shot as the bait, really great for catching those bass in the pond especially. And then of course, you know, you have your big flipping, this is an 1.5 ounce tungsten right here, really big, really good. And then you have, you know, your smaller, you know, your more standard like 1/4 ounce tungstens right here. Just kind of something like that, really good. And then you have, you know, your drop shots, your tear drops right here, just some lead. It's a 1/4 ounce, a little heavy for like little bait casting ones. Or you can get real finessey and kind of go something more like an 1/8 ounce lead rate route or something like that. And then of course, you need to bring your bobber stops in case you do get some heavy cover, or you want to throw like something like more connected right here. There's some cheap bobber stops. You can get a bunch of them for cheap. You don't have to be anything special. And of course, I like to bring a little bit of some jig rattles just in case, you know. It's just kind of just a niche kind of stuff I like to bring, jig rattles and stuff like that. And of course, yeah, whenever you go pond bass fishing, Neko rig sells always. I'd like to bring some nail weights just in case, you know. Some oddballs baits here that I got. It's like a standard right here, son. My favorite swim bait right here is this is the shoot, Bass Mafia's Outranger's in 6 cents. Really good big swim bait for ponds, especially if those ponds have shad in it or something like that. And then of course, you love them. You dang mag draft, 6 cents mag draft, really good for ponds. And then one time when the grass has died back or is gone. And then of course your frogs right here. I love this. I bring these 2 frogs here. And then I bring 1 popping frog here. I usually use these walking frogs in the grass and stuff like that. This is the Berkley Swamp Lord, and I have a black frog, and then I have this frog right here. I have not caught a bass ever on this black frog. I've caught every single bass on this frog. I still have tried not to get the fish on this black frog. There's not been a lot of cloudy days, good frog bites anymore. I'd say I've always been just catching them on this bluegill natural color right here. So do I think frog color really matters? No, not really. And then of course you have a big popping frog here just in case things get a little hairy. Yeah, you know, just kind of see what the bass prefer. Then I like to have like 1 BFS kind of frog. This is a Jackal Kiara, like a smaller frog, just in case, because smaller ponds, smaller bass, you know, something like that. And then that's pretty much it for the terminal tackle. And let's get on to like one of my favorite sections of this here pond bag. I legit have a whole container just for jigs, son. So, I mean, a staple to ponds, you know, a dang chatter donkey right here. This is the Evo Elite half-ounce chatterbait. I prefer 3/8 though, but my other 3/8 is actually snagged on a log at the bottom of the pond. So I got no more of these. But another really good one is the Mini Max. I'm trying to get this, but this has been sold out so much I just haven't been able to get them. But I'm probably gonna get an order on Armory Fishing soon, rather than later. And of course, I have like a bait fish color one too. You never know. I have a couple ponds around my house that do have bait fish in them, so that's pretty good. And then, you know, just like your standard pitching jigs right here. Got like a black and blue pitching jig from 30 Jigs right here. And then, you know, you got your your natural colors and your black and blues. Really good for just all around just fishing, son. I love throwing a jig in ponds. And if you get on a good jig bite, it can be really good. And throwing another bait that's really good in pond, a dang swim jig right here. It's just a Dirty Jigs No Jack swim jig. It's really good in pond because a lot of people don't throw swim jigs. I don't know why, but a lot of people just don't throw them a lot. So I like to throw this just kind of just in the cover, just like kind of like my 1-2 punch, just for like my instead of throwing a chatterbait, I just throw a swim jig. It can be really deadly effective in ponds with a lot of grass, and they're pretty active feeding on some bluegill. And then of course, I like to have like a finessey kind of football head if I get them a good offshore bite going on, maybe a grass line or something. And then I kind of like to have like one bigger, stab me. Bigger football style head right here. It's not a big football, this is a Dirty Jigs finesse football jig. As you probably can tell, I love Dirty Jigs, and they make great jigs right here. This is a Dirty Jigs football head right here. Dragging around offshore, get a good bite in the winter time doing that. That's pretty much all my jigs. I have a bunch of variation of pitching jigs, bigger pitching jigs, slant pitching jigs, but then I like to have like some type of like bright white pitching jig right here. Or, I mean, not pitching jig, swim jig, and then I like to kind of have a more natural colored one, natural shad colored one right there. But again, you know, just something, just a kind of a variation of each. I like throwing jigs in ponds, and if you don't throw jigs in ponds, I don't know what you are doing and what planet you're living on, because jigs in ponds work really stinking well. But now, after we have done pretty much talked about all of the stuff down there, let's talk about the stuff in this top. Can open up. Oh, stop. Let's go. There we go. Yeah, still breaking it in, but let's talk about all these stuff in this top compartment here. All right, so pretty much first off, starting out here, just take a good handful of this. Since there's a lot of bluegill, that's mainly the forage and ponds is bluegill, I have a lot of crawl style baits because they mimic bluegill the best. I like the Googan baits a lot. Not really, because they were on sale, so I just stocked up on them because they're really cheap. Probably one of my favorites right here, the Crush City Bronco Bug, really good pitching bait around cover. And then I do like a good Rattling Chunk right here from Googan, another really good bait. Then another good bait from Googan, the Bandito Bug's really good from Googan right there. Again, I just have them in different colors. Oh, a really good jig trailer is the Rage Crawl right here. Personally, my favorite jig trailer of all time. And then, you know, probably one of my favorite ways, just thing like Buzz Toad kind of frog, if they get mad at the grass, can be really good because covered in stinking water. And then I like to have like kind of like a tube kind of profile kind of bait like this, just to kind of just have something different in my arsenal that I can reach in and grab, you know. And then of course you got to have your drop shot baits right here. Here's a little spilled pinto mouse, really good drop shot baits. I mean, really good drop shot baits right there. And then wherever I go, I just like to have a small swim bait available. These are Axone Swammers in the 2.75 inch in the red pole blue color. Just to mimic minnows and stuff, just to mimic something like that. Also, what I didn't show you in the terminal tackle thing is I have 30 Jigs guppy head things. I don't have anyone because, again, they're at the bottom of the pond. So, yeah, Make sure to like and subscribe because I need to make some bank so I can start buying some more stuff to make more cool videos for you guys. And then one of my favorite ways to catch them in the ponds is this weightless fluke. This is the Googan Dart again. They just went on sale and I got a whole bunch of them. Not my favorite one, but the only one I have a natural kind of bluish color. There's a black called Sprayed Lettuce. It's actually a pretty dang good color. So yeah, pretty good color right there. And then over here, you can't go wrong. You gotta have some type of Senko worm area, really good. And you know, I just have some other things in here. Oh, poop bait, son. I love a dang poop in the dang ponds. This is the Max Mitchell Baits Bomba. Really good poop bait. Really good at catching big ol' bass that like to eat poop in ponds, son. Then over here we got the T-Mac Magnum Worm, really good shaky head, June bug color. I like June bug in the summertime, but after transitioning to fall, I want to replace these June bug colors with like natural colors and stuff like that. And then if we scoot back into the tackle box here, we have, you know, just like some Ned rigs because I love the Ned shot. Really great trailer for that. And then if you go back even farther in here, I just have some little spunk shads, 3-inch spunk shads. Sometimes if they're eating minnows a lot, I can stroll for them. That's a really, really good way to catch them in ponds if they're eating a lot of minnows. And then as winter time comes around, I put my pink worms back into play, son. These are my Robo worms. I love these worms just for drop shots in general. Really good, really great drop shots. And then I have some smaller, little more finessey, shaky head worms right there from V and M baits. And then up here, we just kind of got some, just some more terminal tackle up here, just some more Googan hooks up here. They're actually, Googan hooks are like really good, just really good hooks in general that I've found. And then another good bait is this right here. This is a weedless underspin. This is a really, really great bait for covering water. It's really good. I mean, it's solid. It's probably one of the best ways to cover water. Still have a blade in the fall time when they're chasing shad. This is actually the exact same bait, the exact same swim bait, and the exact same hook that I caught my 9-pounder PB bass on actually last year in December. So hopefully this year I'm gonna break it, but we'll see. And then if it's travel down here, we just got some glide baits. So if you look in here, well, a couple are broken, but probably one of my favorite ones to throw in ponds, just a glide bait in general. It's just a Nessie. It's cheap, it's really good, so I always like to throw this in ponds. Pretty dang good bait. And then the other ones are sadly broken, but right here we have the old Buka Trick Shad. The tail broke off of, sadly, but I love throwing a Buka Trick Shad in ponds, really good for that. And then the other one in there is just kind of miscellaneous one I just acquired from Googan. Ow, these hooks are sharp, son, golly. And then, if you look in this one, I have just some spinner baits in this one. Because believe it or not, spinner baits can actually do really good in ponds, especially if they have bait fish in them in the fall. So this is just a dirty jigs spinner bait, really good spinner bait. And then I have a random rat bait in there for some random reason. I don't know if y'all care too much about this, but I'll never throw this in the pond, but I just kind of have it in there just for looks, I guess. So that brings us to the end of this video of looking inside of my pond bag here. Pretty good pond bag, really good at just holding everything. And so yeah, if y'all enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, comment down any other videos you'd like me to see to film. And well, peace out, catch a big one, and see you tomorrow. Peace.